We're going to talk about it now. Joining us to discuss, Republican strategist John Thomas, Nestpoint managing director, and Democratic strategist Anthony Davis, founder and CEO of the Davis System. Thank you both for being here today. John, let's start with you because we're taking a look at the Associated Press. Nearly 2/3 of Americans disapprove, as we take a look at the numbers, they disapprove of the president's job performance in his second term. So we take a look at these mass protests, and we wonder if it signals about the public's perception of President Trump and his policies. How do you see it?
Well, first, a couple things. One is President Trump's approval rating actually has ticked up 2 points during the shutdown, which signals to me that Americans are siding with Trump and the Republicans. And I think I'm not entirely sure. This brings me to my next point. I'm not entirely sure what this No Kings protest is about. Are they insinuating that he wasn't duly elected? Are they protesting the military celebration that Trump administration is doing, the same military peace through strength that's bringing unprecedented peace across the world and might bring this Ukraine war to an end? I'm not entirely sure. It seems like they don't like secure borders. They just don't like the Trump policies, I guess. But it also seems like they're saying he's an oligarch. I'm mixed on their messaging, and I don't quite get it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got No King signs everywhere, and there are some other colorful signs there as well. Anthony, Republican lawmakers, including Speaker Mike Johnson, are calling today's protests Hate America rallies. So what do you say to Republicans who claim these demonstrations are anti-American?
Well, I say that when you have Republican members of Congress calling these Hate America rallies, it's not only dangerous, it's quite literally not true. America was founded by fighting a revolution to reject a monarch. And when our country starts to bow to one man, showing up to protest feels as though the most patriotic thing one can do. So to call these Hate America rallies is not only inaccurate, it's dangerous, and it's discouraging of folks exercising their First Amendment right.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to watch it all unfold, but it is many people, we've had a couple of guests on our program today saying that they are concerned about about Johnson's showing up and saying what he said. I'm going to actually ask you, John, to weigh in on that before we move on to the next subject.
Yeah, I actually think Speaker Johnson's right here. I mean, it seems like what the protests, if I'm trying to parse through some of the signs and language here, but it seems like the protests are largely protesting, again, some of President Trump's and the administration's most fundamental policies that got him elected by the people. That's the opposite of a monarchy, the opposite of a king. These policies are immensely popular. And look, a lot of the protesters that I've seen just through watching video are anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, pro-legal immigrant, anti kind of American immigration policy. So I think it's fair for the speaker to say what he said here.
All right. I'm going to give you a chance to weigh in. Anthony, I see you shaking your head.
Well, when you're in the middle of a government shutdown, when people have seen mass officers carrying out immigration detentions, federal troops occupying American cities, education resources, environmental and voting protections being slashed, one can question how popular these decisions by the Trump administration truly is. And we can see that in the approval ratings, and we can also see that in 2,600 events being organized, not only here in America, but worldwide today.
All right. Well, we're going to continue to watch this. We've got our cameras everywhere. One of the other things I want to get to you both on is what's happening here in New York. I want to ask you about the New York mayoral race. Zohran Mamdani with a commanding lead against Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams. Now, Trump took up a large part of the conversation during this week's debate. A lot of people talking about him. Anthony, federal issues were front and center at the debate, more than local New York issues, as a matter of fact. So when you take a look at what was talked about, what does that signify about the national political conversation?
Yeah, I mean, it shows that what is happening federally, at the end of the day, it dictates what's happening locally. I think that one of the things that one of our Massachusetts state representatives here once said is that all politics is local. And so when what is happening on the federal level is affecting people's bottom line and affecting their safety in their cities, Trump is going to loom largely over this race. I think that you see every candidate in the race kind of positioning and saying how their opponent is going to either appease Trump or bow down to Trump. And, you even heard Cuomo say that if Mamdani wins, it'll be Mayor Trump because he doesn't feel as though Mamdani has the ability to stand up to Trump. And so his presence and just overall this administration is going to loom largely over this race and over all local races over the next year and a half, as well as we go into the midterms next year.
John, I'll get your thoughts before we leave. How do you think this mayor's race is going to shake out?
Well, it's one of those things where generally debates don't affect outcomes of elections. It's more as long as do no harm. I don't think either candidate really moved the needle. It looks like it's Mondami in a walk here, but I think Anthony's right. The fact is, you can read the tea leaves. This is really a Democrat base election, even though it's nonpartisan technically. And if New Yorkers decide to, elect a socialist as their mayor with lots of policies that make even moderate Democrats blush, that might be the tea leaves that an AOC type leftist might be more marketable either in the upcoming midterms or the next presidential Democratic primary.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting here, and it's a very top topic here in New York, of course. John Thomas, Anthony Davis, thank you very much for joining us today on your Saturday. We appreciate it.